this shows the two different ways that we carve. I'm going to carve a traditional way and a abbreviated way so that you can see the two differences here. Alright, here's my bird. And what's the one thing I want to do before I do any of this? There's actually two things I need to do. I just passed them around. So what do? Where's my thermometer? Alright, did everybody see them yet? Okay. First thing I want to do is check if the bird is done. So there's my dimple. And I'll actually shove it in the bird. There's two different ways to check a bird. One in the breast, that's a thick part, or I can also stick it into the thigh muscle. Okay, what should they register? Looking at your green sheet, what should they register? (165 degrees, right? Okay. 165 degrees. Okay, and so these birds are well over that. In fact, it's been sitting out for a while. And you notice that there's a rest time there next to that temperature. For heavier muscle meats like roasts and so forth, there's a rest time. When you take them out of the oven, you let them sit. What happens is that they actually superheat, and they'll actually cook a little bit longer as they rest. And it also makes them easier to carve too. So like roasts or tenderloin, that type of thing, you want it to rest a little bit before you carve it. It's easier to carve.
Anybody hate fish? You like hate the texture of fish? A lot of people overcook fish. I had somebody, one of the managers at South Kissel Hill, he told me, Barry Parsons, he talked about people overcook fish because they cook it until it's done and then they pull it out of the oven and then it superheats.
It overheats.
Fish is going to be really rubbery if it's too cooked. So if you hate that rubbery texture, you probably cook your fish too much.
Especially scallops. So what you do is you do what we call a color test. And so it goes from a clear color to kind of a milky color. And when it's just starting to turn milky, you need to stop. And then let it rest a little bit and it'll finish cooking but not get overcooked. You can also check it with a thermometer. Woohoo! Cheap insurance. Okay? I know, people get excited about thermometers. I'm so excited. I have two. Okay? Two thermometers. Okay, we are good. We're good to go on temperature. The other thing you need to remember is you need to have a sharp knife. Why a sharp knife? Because a sharp knife is starts with an S, it's a safe knife. Right, safe knife. Okay, so how do I sharpen it? I use one of these things. This is a knife sharpener. It has two ceramic little rods in there, and I just stroke the knife through it a couple of times just to straighten the edge, and I'm ready to go. Okay? So, without further ado, let's go through two methods of carving a bird. The first one I'm going to show is the traditional method. The traditional method is what I saw when I was a kid on TV. When Butterball was trying to sell their turkeys, they would have the guy actually sitting here and carving the turkey, and your mouth would start watering automatically. Okay? I'm going to show you by first taking off the wingtip here and bending this down so you can see. And open this up a little bit. What you do is you just push the leg down a little bit, and then you make a cut right along the armpit of the bird here. So you come in and you move right to the bone. Okay, one fell cut. Okay. After that, then, what you do next is then you cut straight down to the first cut, and you make slices. So here's the first slice. And when you're cutting at the table, this looks really cool. You want to impress your girlfriend? Gentlemen, learn how to carve. There you go. Ooh. Okay? And then you would just keep on carving the next cut down. And that's how you cut carve the old-fashioned way, okay? You see that? You just keep on carving as you need to.
So you know you don't have to be upset. These are not our birds.
Now, there's no name to this chicken.
We donated all of ours to social services. This is one from Weiss. It's the Weiss bird.
Okay?
So you have no emotional attachment to the chicken.
You don't know that. I couldn't have a bird.
It was somebody's bird, but not your bird. Okay? So, the other thing to remember in food safety is that you always handle cooked product with a utensil, if you can, okay? Because if I touch something, and then I touch the bird, what am I doing? I'm transferring germs. And so, always think about handling cooked product, whether it's salad or stuffing or what have you, with utensils, and handle raw product with your hands. And that way you'll never cross that barrier, okay? So, to cut the leg off, you grab the leg, and then you can cut through that imaginary line that I showed you in earlier with our anatomy lab, right through the joint. And there is a leg, right? Thigh, same way. We just pull it away from the bird, and we make a cut through the thigh, that hip joint. Grabbing that, we just twist it out. If I can find it. There's our thigh bone. There's the thigh. And then you just go ahead and cut down the top of the bone. You can skewer it with the knife, or I mean the fork, and just pull the meat away. Okay? That's where the fork comes in handy. Okay? Alright, so that's one way. Who likes hot wings? Okay, so here is a wing, same idea. Is bend it away, cut through the joint. Find the joint. There you go. And there's your wing. Okay. The other thing is, if somebody would ask you for a wishbone, where would the wishbone be on the bird? The what? The collarbone. She is absolutely correct, okay? And so this bone, which is the wishbone, sits in the front of the bird where the V of the neck is. So as you're carving birds, you'll see that there's going to be a little bone at the front of this thing. And so that is where you would stop cutting, because you're hitting that collarbone. So you just cut down to it, and then away you go. Alright, so I can feel the bone with my knife. It's a very sharp knife. Okay, so what do I do with the rest of the bird? What can I do with it? You can do what with it? Any ideas?
Once you get most of the meat off.
When I get all the meat off, what do I do? What can I do? I can what? Yeah, a dog might choke on these small bones. And it's not a balanced diet for the dog. It's all meat. So, what else could I do with it? How many of you had chicken soup? Chicken soup is nothing but taking the rest of this chicken, putting it in boiling water, boil the rest of the meat off, and then you have chicken broth and chicken bits for chicken soup.